doing the presentation on the science of small wins and the principle of progress. So I'd love to have your answer in the chat. Put which personality type are you? Are you number one? Put number one if you're all or nothing, and number two if you're consistent gains. So if you just tap that, I mean, I have my theory, my theories about this. Look, see where we are with that. Yeah. Yeah, as I thought, most people who've put something down are all or nothing. So the progress theory is developed by two scientists where they asked, it's related to the work environment, but they asked 238 people to track their emotions, motivation levels, etc., to see how, in fact, it impacted on performance. And they found through something like, I don't know, 1,200 diary entries that when people consistently take steps forward, small steps, they're more creative, productive, and engaged, and have better relationships, which has a completely positive influence on their performance and achieving their goals. So in short, achieving and celebrating small wins will help you to feel more engaged, to help you feel more engaged and accomplished. So again, in the chat, number one, do you feel like you've not achieved enough? Number one, for yes, you'd feel like you often feel like you've not achieved enough, feel a bit useless. And number two, no, you often can celebrate and feel good about what you've achieved. So which are you for this second question? If you just tap it in the one, moving to two, that's good, Sonia. Well done. All or nothing, try and get to the other. Yeah. So how do you apply this to the Kickass Midlife Method? So I know that a lot of people, I'm not going to name names here, but these three graphs are all from people who feel a bit shit about not being able to achieve the weight loss they're after, or achieving the results that are after. Now, if you go and look at the graphs of these people, it's suggesting something. Oh, I've got two the same. It's suggesting something different. Yes, we have these ups, but then we have downs again. Any weight loss is never linear. So if you're always looking at just oh, I failed on that and giving up, you're never going to continue to see, actually, if you carry on, you will have this downward trajectory. So it's remembering to always look back on a bigger scale at your graphs and celebrate those wins when you get them, and appreciate that when you have a bit of an up, it's often down to having a holiday or a weekend off. And then if you just keep going with it, keep with the consistency, celebrate those wins, but make sure you track and reflect back, because it's no good just having one big goal and then not actually tracking it and thinking about, okay, where am I now? Let's have a look, and actually seeing that often you have achieved more than you think you have. And then also the strength gains. It's about making sure that it's not just a tick exercise. So it's not just doing whatever you've been set on your calendar. Okay, I've done that. I've ticked a box, but not engaging and celebrating that win, making sure that you know actually what progress you've made. For instance, Corinne, who I have got her name on here, finally achieved full push-up today. Now, if she hadn't tracked that, push-ups, I know Brenda's done these, push-ups are probably one of those ones that are a bit more easy to ascertain, oh yes, I've done it, compared to your half push-ups. But then in terms of your goblet squats, for instance, or your deadlifts, tracking it, overhead lunges, tracking it will help you celebrate and think, actually, I am progressing. If you just do it and then don't engage with it, you'd never do that at work. You never do something at work and just tick it off and not think about it again. You'd be thinking about what that thing at work has helped you to progress in terms of the work environment. It's the same thing with the Kickass Midlife Method. Your strength training. Where am I now? Next workout, same workout. Often they repeat in 4-week blocks. how have I pushed that? So always celebrating those little, even if it's a 1K difference or one more rep or whatever it is that the workout is, like celebrating that and tracking and making sure that you're reflecting and celebrating those wins. So I'm sure you've all heard of SMART goals, but it's worth me going over this again. And it would be good if some of you who feel like you're a bit hazy on your goals, go away and think about this. So really good way. You're only going to be able to celebrate your small wins if you have a clear goal in the first place and have a clear statement of what you want to achieve. So then you are able to figure out what those short-term goals or small wins are along the way to that long-term goal. So make sure you write down what your goal is and really dig deep on that. Rather, think about why it is that you want that. So obviously setting a goal, it creates intention and motivation. In the day-to-day rush of stuff, unless it's something, you know, like for instance, I ran an ultra this year. So something big like that, it's easy to maintain your focus on it because it's so big. You know, if you don't maintain your focus on it, it's like game over. But if, you know, in your day-to-day life, if you've got things that you want to achieve, but they're not like big in terms of like take up so much space in your head like that, then you sometimes need to keep going back to it and reminding yourself what it is. Maybe write it down every week, because that helps create the intention and motivation, because otherwise in the day-to-day rush of everything, you kind of forget what it is you're doing, why you want to do it, and therefore you stop tracking it. So the best way is to be absolutely specific about what that goal is and the steps you need to take to achieve it. Obviously, I'm here to help you take those steps, put those steps in place to help you achieve your goal. So I need to know what your goal is. So have you communicated it? Have you thought about it since you first started coaching with me? Has it changed? If it's changed, what is that goal? Why do you want to do it? And have you told me? Because without that, I can't change your training program and help you achieve it, or your nutrition. So for instance, some people might now be like, I know what proteins, I know what kind of my intake should be. I don't want to see the nutrition stuff anymore. I want to just see maybe like portion sizes in terms of hands, how much you know, protein should be in a palm size amount. Or maybe your goal was to do the push-ups, you've achieved that. Now you might want to do pull-ups, or maybe your goal switched completely and you're now, as we approach, not yet, as we're thinking about approaching autumn, you might have something that you think, actually, I really want a running goal. But whatever it is, make sure you communicate it. So to make it meaningful and effective, it needs to be specific, which is what the SMART stands for: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So measurable, when will you know when you reach your goal? So setting those clear benchmarks will help you track your progress, celebrate the wins. So if it's weight loss, and lots of you have been getting confused around this and thinking toning or inch loss is not weight loss, it's all the same thing. You don't lose inches and you don't tone without losing body fat. So it's the same thing. Don't throw in the towel just because your weight fluctuates. It will fluctuate. If you go away on holiday, obviously it's going to fluctuate at this time of year. If you go out for 3 days at the weekend and don't track anything, or don't stick to any kind of thinking about your protein and your slow release carbohydrates, you're drinking, you've got like some maybe processed food in there, that's going to affect your weight, because you're going to have more salt, which means you're going to get more water retention. So don't throw in the towel just because over the weekend or over a 2-week holiday your graph's gone up. So is it a goal that you can reasonably achieve? Now, this actually, for people who know me, I'm a bit funny about the attainable goal. This is what the SMART principles are. But I actually think that it should be a goal that inspires you. And sometimes to inspire you, it needs to be something that challenges you and stretches you a little bit. In terms of an exercise goal anyway, but that can still be something like maybe you're on a kettlebell swing and you're thinking 8K's like heavy. I can't imagine anything else that I could do that. Maybe you could set yourself as a 30K kettlebell swing. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to do an ultra or anything like that. In terms of a weight loss goal, if weight loss is what you're interested in, don't be scared of thinking about 12 months from now. If weight loss is important to you and it's something really quite a big goal that you want to achieve and you're scared of saying it, don't be scared of saying it. Put it down as your 12-month goal and work back from that. Anything's attainable. And make sure it's relevant. So think about your why and dig deep. Don't just go on the surface level like, I want to feel healthier. Why do you want to feel healthier? What is it about how you feel right now that you don't like? Where would you want to get to? Is it because you've got experience of your family or parents not really being very well and you're scared of ending up like that? Is it you feel overweight and really uncomfortable and you want to feel like freer in your clothes? Just dig a little deep and write it down. You can tell me, you can not tell me, but just make it as relevant as possible and don't just go surface level. Really think about your why. And then set your time limits. So obviously with my coaching, you're already on that path. You've already kind of committed to thinking, okay, I want to set this, I want to get this start and end goal. And then don't just, I think sometimes some of you sign up and think, okay, I've signed up, that's going to do it all for me. You've still got to engage with the process. You've still got to go in and celebrate those wins. Don't feel useless all the time if it's not going, if you feel like it's not going exactly as you want it to. Actually look at what you've achieved so far and celebrate the fact, firstly, that you've signed up. Secondly, that a lot of you are doing the workouts, which you might not be doing the workouts at all if you didn't have this. Celebrate that in and of itself first. Look at your graphs, look at the fact that you're often, a lot of you are saying, oh, I'm not doing anything, but your your measurements are going down, your weight loss is going down, your weight loss is happening. And, you know, all it is staying consistent to that and celebrating the fact that you are achieving what you've set out to do. And recognize setbacks. Obviously, setbacks are holidays. This time of year is, you know, obviously that time when we're all a bit more relaxed, and that's going to affect things. It's okay to make adjustments to your goal, but it's just reminding yourself of what those goals are, just being kind of accountable to yourself about what those goals are, remembering what it is, resetting, refocusing if you've been on holiday. Think about the next 3 months. What obstacles are you likely to experience? Put in place now kind of things around those obstacles that will help you overcome them. Or if it's like another holiday down the line, just accept, okay, I'm going on holiday. You know, make sure you communicate that to me so I can set in place different different training, and or for instance, if you're going to be away and you're like, I don't want to have the restrictions of feeling like I've got to track my food all the time, removing some of that stuff to make you to allow you not to be thinking about, I've got to track all my calories, that kind of stuff. So all of those things, just making sure you communicate. So SMART goals, as I'm sure you all know, help encourage positive behaviors. So without your goals, you can't actually recognize and celebrate the small wins because you don't actually know what your goal is, so you can't actually see what the wins are on the way towards it. So the more clear you are on your goal, the more able you are to celebrate the small wins, not feel like you're failing at it, and that will help you feel motivated and accountable. So it's thinking about what SMART goal can you set for yourself today, or you know, by the end of the week, or go back to the goals you had when you first started coaching and see whether they are still mean something to you. Are they still the goals that you want to achieve and work towards, and start to refocus on that so that you can actually celebrate the small wins, because everyone in this program is moving forward and progressing with that. So